Welcome in to USL Pro Weekly. My name's Nicholas Murray, very pleased to be joined by David Wagner. And David, lots to get to this weekend, starting off with the Charleston Battery.
Yep.
3 wins on the trot now, big win against the Los Angeles Blues on Saturday night, and now suddenly they're in the top 4, and they've got a chance, they got the inside track to home field advantage, at least in the first round of the playoffs. We saw this time last year. This is where the Battery kind of turned things on, got their season on track. Are we seeing a repeat performance here, and the defending champions kind of hitting their stride just at the right time?
I think there's a lot of similarities. I think that one thing that's different about this team from last year is there's a lot more new pieces, I think, in this side than last year's. I think there was a few more holdovers. So it's to be expected that there's going to be a little bit of time to get those people to gel and get in place. There's no doubt that the level of talent that they have on this team is right there where they were last season. So given the fact that they've had some months to really mold and fit into each other, I think that you're right. I think there is potential for them to go on that run, and this is where they're really going to find their place and stay in that top 4.
Guy I'm really pleased to see back, Ben Fisk, a young kid out of the Vancouver Whitecaps system,
Yep.
picked up another assist on the weekend coming back from injury. Great to see that happening.
Yep.
Now, a little bit lower down in the standings, but just as significantly, VSI Tampa Bay going on a very strong road trip.
Yep.
Big 2-1 victory against the Wilmington Hammerheads, which might have knocked the Hammerheads out of playoff contention, and then go out, get a draw, perfectly respectable on the road against
Yep.
the undefeated Richmond Kickers. Very nice to come back to Florida with 4 points and really solidifying their playoff position.
Yeah, huge weekend for VSI. Obviously, we've talked about before the level of talent that they had on the team. Some of those same players that were on that Charleston team last year that we talked about. So, very consistent squad, solid players. They know how to score goals. They know how to play in this league. They know how to be successful in this league. So there's no way that you can count them out and being a playoff team and making some damage in the playoffs too.
Now, their fellow expansion team, Phoenix FC, hasn't quite had the same go of it this season, but congratulations to them. First road victory, and it was a doozy against the Charlotte Eagles,
Yeah.
getting a 4-0 win. And suddenly Phoenix, they're still technically alive, but hopefully this is something they can build on. For Charlotte, hopefully this isn't a little bit of a wobble towards the end of the season as they try to contend for a top 4 place themselves.
Yeah, it's tough. Usually when you see Charlotte, like I remember in the midweek game, I'm like, they're going to come back and tie. They're going to come back and tie. That's usually how it works. It worked with LA the other day and everything else. But you look at what happened against Phoenix, and they just didn't really have it going this game. Could only go for so long like that. And Phoenix just sort of broke out of its shell. It's like they were just waiting to sort of explode, and they did. Great game for them. We've talked about some of the level play that they have, the level of talent on that team. It's a lot of guys that are newer to the league, so it's a little bit different than Tampa, so it's taken a little bit longer to click. They've had a lot of tough games, a lot of close games where they've either lost it late or it was a draw or something like that. So good to see them break out of their shell. They definitely have a lot of talented players who will be, have a long-term success in this league.
Well, that's it for this edition of USL Pro Weekly. No version of the podcast, I'm afraid, this week. David's off to Kansas City to go to the MLS All-Star Game. I'm getting ready to go to Austin to go to the PDL Championships this weekend. But we will have a weekend preview for you with Chris Economidos on Friday afternoon. So take the opportunity to check that out as we preview this upcoming weekend's games. Until then, for David, my name's Nicholas. Thanks for joining us.